Hi, I'm TJ. Yeah, how are you doing? Hello. Unfortunately, I've only got one extra mic. If who wants to get, we'll probably have the most conversations or questions.
Oh, what is this for?
Just for the video, so that way we can see and hear you guys in case you have any questions during the conversation.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You can just clip it onto yourself there. That way I can hear you. Especially when it's super windy out. If you want, you can just leave that in the car for now. What we'll do is we'll do the evaluation together, and then at the end, I'll go bring him in and I'll come back for his stuff. So that way you don't have to carry it the whole time.
I'll put dog mode on. His dad is in the car.
Okay.
The older dog.
So let's see what he's like, I guess, first, and we'll leave the car on.
What's that?
If you want, we can leave the car on and see what he's like first, and then we can see what he's like with the other pup.
Well, it's his dad. He's got cancer. He's just old and sick in there, so he's just probably.
He doesn't move very well.
Yeah. Gotcha. Oh.
Okay. We'll be back, buddy. Come on.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll just kind of...
Okay.
If you guys want, what we can do is just kind of go over his behaviors, you know, any that you can kind of display out here, probably with like the walking behaviors and the pulling and things like that.
Okay.
And see how well he responds to you.
Okay.
And then we might either have to take turns or have somebody watching over the other pup, then see how he's like socially. Either up in the shopping center or in the neighborhood, just depending on, you know, if we need to test his reactivity or anything like that. We have those options, and then I have an open field over there for more of the recall practice and things.
Okay. Yeah, so just...
Do you want me to pause and wait for him, or?
Oh, no, that's my mom and her husband. They're visiting, and so they wanted to spend some time in the car.
Oh, okay.
So they just joined me for that reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Seems like he's very attached to them as well.
No, he doesn't really know them. He's just curious, I think. He's attached to me.
Okay.
So like when I leave the house, he'll sit by the door and whine.
Okay.
Or we put him in the cage when we leave because he'll pee everywhere. So he'll start howling if nobody else is in the house.
Yeah, that one will be hard to evaluate, but I'll work on that back inside at home.
Okay.
We can do the first one though, if you want. I can
Sure.
just hold on to the leash, and then just start to slowly walk away, and we'll see how bad the reaction is.
Okay. Is this where you do all the training in this parking area?
Usually for like basic drills here or in the grass area, and then most of the time we'll go either in the shopping center or downtown Fredericksburg, because there's like a dog park and some more park areas over there.
Okay.
But yeah, for like basic drills and things like that, we'll usually practice here, and there's another area right behind the house there that's got some grass in it.
Okay. Like not much traffic or like other dogs that he's gonna have to...
No, unfortunately we have to go downtown to Fredericksburg for that, but the good part about that is it's really busy downtown, and then there's the dog parks and everything. They don't have one built up here yet.
Yeah.
And I just moved up from Fredericksburg.
Okay.
So I know all the regulars at the dog park, and usually have to go there pretty frequently. Or there's a couple more that are down south too, like McDuff and Spotsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So if we need to, we'll have to usually travel for the dogs, but every now and then too, when I'm out practicing with them, there's the both a PetSmart and a Petco,
Okay.
as well as Lowe's and the Home Depot. So we'll have plenty of opportunities to like purposefully expose, and then we have quite a few dogs in the neighborhood too, which I also mostly know as well. So
yeah, my goal isn't really to socialize him. Doesn't matter. It's not important to me because we don't put him in a kennel. He's not going to really be around other dogs. If it's a part of your training program, then that's great. But I'd hate for like
we don't have to go all the way
fight,
down there.
You know, like I don't want him to get bit.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, he's got a traumatic experience. He was bit here when he was a puppy.
Oh, poor guy.
And so I think he's remembered that.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, that's good then, because like I said, unless we're like specifically going down there to do those things, it's usually pretty quiet around here for
Okay.
the most part. Like I said, there's a few dogs around the neighborhood, and we know them all. And our neighbor there has a new puppy and everything too. But if we don't need to run into other pups, we don't have to.
Okay. Cool.
So go ahead and just start walking away so I can see how his separation anxiety
Okay.
is.
So we thought this was a walking path.
It just
It goes a
stops.
ways, but it just
Oh.
kind of stops right there.
So are you supposed to walk away and see what he does?
Yeah. Should we go farther? Should we keep going?
Boy, you're okay.
I don't know. I'll go out of sight. Were you looking for a place to pee?
Yeah, he went. Now the truck.
Yeah. We're hiding.
Yeah. Guess that's a good sign, right?
Yeah.
And he's nice with the guy.
He knows he's with the dog.
Dog whisperer.
Not too bad.
Hi, Bones.
You can kind of see that a lot of his anxiety is just from, an attachment, but then also just not being as confident with just being alone. Being by himself, finding his own things to do outside of interacting with others. So usually back at home, after he kind of relaxes for a while and go into another room, is he okay kind of staying where he was in the living room and laying down, or does he usually get up
He
and come with you?
comes with me in every room, which is something I enjoy. I like, the companionship there, but I don't want him to have anxiety when I'm away to the extent that it is harmful to him.
Right.
Or that he's going to pee on anything in the house. That's the biggest thing to my wife. It's just not making messes. So we would like to not have to put him in a crate when we leave.
Because he has a doggy door. He can go out to pee. So
Yeah, and he does use it.
my choice.
Yeah.
We'll see too if he'll be able to relax after extra kind of exercise, both mental and physical, because usually that helps with separation anxiety, just because after you leave, they expect you to come back and then start their day again or work with them again. And that's usually the cycle that I get to have with the dogs, because I get to spend so much time with them.
Okay.
And so the time that I'm actually away, they actually get to rest and relax, as opposed to stressing about where I am or when I'm coming back and things like that. We just do a lot of, at first, very short come and goes, and then longer and longer.
Okay.
And then before, when we find his threshold, that's when we really start to kind of add in more walking work or more playtime, usually a little bit of both, just beforehand and hitting that timing threshold again, like say like 10-15 minutes is when he starts to kind of really get antsy.
Yeah.
So we'll try to kind of give him an hour or two of activity beforehand and see if we can push that to maybe him doing a nap for like half an hour to an hour, and then usually after they wake up they might get antsy after looking around again, so maybe giving them something else to look forward to after they wake up. So finding treats that he likes, finding toys that he likes that are actually like self-engaging.
That'd be great, because I feel so bad. We leave the house, they just sleep and they just sit there. They don't really play with anything. But another issue is we haven't been able to leave toys out with both of them because they'll get possessive of the toy and they might fight each other. So we haven't been leaving toys for them. If I leave a toy in his cage by himself, he won't play with it. He'll just sit there and be sad. So that'd be great if there's a way for him to self-engage.
We could also work on him being able to share toys too with others. That just depends also on that also just depends on the temperament of your other pup too, because sometimes you have to kind of meet halfway between the two dogs and teach them both to share nicely. But we'll see how much of it we can work on his end, and then we can maybe have his older brother sleep over for the last couple days or so, just to test out things. If you guys are going to be here and available. If not, you can always go back home with some of the lessons and stuff that we did. I'll have it recorded so you can try it out and see how it works out there too. So we'll have a couple different options. Let's go ahead and see what the walking behavior is going to be like, because that'll probably be most of what we'll be working on in the meantime.
Yeah, that's really important. Stop. Wait. He's actually a little more tame now than he usually is.
Might be the car ride as well.
Yeah, I think so. We go on road trips fairly often, and he gets kind of anxious in the car at first, and then he chills out. And then when we stop to refuel, he's generally pretty chill like this. But when we walk around the neighborhood, he's just dragging us. Hey, wait.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah, that, but more.
Okay.
And if we have it's his father we brought with us, and he's really sick. Like, it could be any day now that he says goodbye.
Gotcha.
But if they're together, he has to be at the front. And he'll be like furiously crawling on the concrete to get ahead in front of his father.
Do you think your parents will be up to walking him for a little bit to see how that works out?
With them instead of me?
Oh no, with like both of them, so that way I can see how much harder he pulls to be in front.
Sure.
Or I can hold him too.
Will he be able to walk?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be for very long.
I don't have a leash for him.
I got one.
But okay, great.
Walk?
Oh yeah.
We can walk outside.
Well, I mean,
Hopefully he can walk a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, he can go up to a mile right now.
Really?
Yeah, but we don't let him because sometimes if he goes that far, he'll just be too tired to continue. Good job, buddy. This way.
Leave him alone. Stop.
It's just a slip lead for you.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Need me to hold him?
Okay. Oh, this guy's 14 years old. He's got liver cancer, brain cancer, heart cancer.
He's like, all right, cool, I moved.
Come on, buddy. Let's go on a walk. Manson, come on. Manson, come on. Up. There you
just
go.
heard everything you said about him, and he's wondering why you want to take him on a walk. Knowing all that.
Because he needs exercise. So, can you get behind me with him and see how he reacts to that?
See, this is what I
job.
was talking about. He walks me.
Okay.
So if once he gets in front of him, he doesn't pull as hard.
Okay.
He has to be in the front.
So go ahead and let him go in front with Mom, and we'll see how he goes here. Okay. All right. Yeah, and you guys will get to see it in the video as we kind of go back and forth. But the main reason that he pulls when he's on his own is kind of like a lot of pups. They'll catch a whiff of something interesting on the ground, and they'll just follow their nose to it, right? And he feels the pressure of the leash, but he just ignores it to kind of continue getting to what he wants and what he's interested in. That's the first part. And then the second part is just because he wants to be included up in this pack. So if we can try to walk almost right next to each other back to the car so he doesn't have to walk so much. I want to see if that'll actually help. So not dragging behind, but at the same time not far ahead.
Okay.
A little bit more. There you go. And then just so now he's back to kind of being in front there. So now we'll let you go in front a little bit, and we'll go behind here.
Well,
If you want, I'll take him to make it easier for you. You can let go. So I will wait for him. That's fine. Right, so you can kind of see now in like this zone, he's still kind of following his nose a little bit, but because he also wants to stick close to everybody else, it's a lot easier with slightly less pulling if we stay in this zone together.
Interesting.
And it's a pretty small zone to be in though.
Yeah.
But then he kind of goes back to this.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to go to the next smell, he also wants to stay around here too.
Yeah.
So he's almost like right in between those two behaviors.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yep. I'll just keep following you, and we'll let him go back in the car here a little bit. So now when he's going to get too far ahead, I'm going to wait.
Doesn't help that he's a little slow.
That's okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and give him a break unless you think he needs to use the bathroom or anything. But you don't have to walk him anymore.
Okay.
So, especially with like this kind of harness, it's just to help make it uncomfortable when they're pulling, right? To help discourage them from continuing to pull. You can kind of see it. This one doesn't. We might need to try to tighten it or adjust it to see if it'll fit properly, because this part should be just in the front, right? And then when
kind of pulling around,
So when it turns, it should just be that part that turns in front, that, right?
Yeah.
And so like when we turn left and right, it should turn his whole body. But instead, the harness itself is pretty much like slipping and pulling this way. And sometimes they're just in between sizes as well.
Yeah.
But I'll take a look at it, see if we can adjust it to make it any better.
Okay.
But I think the main thing is because he's just pulling through the force anyways, we got to teach him to recognize leash pressure and then what to do when that actually happens.
Yeah. I put the leash on the choke collar once. That was a bad idea because he would just choke himself to the point where he's, it's horrible. I felt so bad.
Yeah, because like he doesn't know what to do when that happens, and so he just keeps trying to pull through it to get to whatever he's interested in.
Yeah.
So we have to teach him that if he feels that he needs to stop and focus on us and then follow us or come back to us or stick with us, which is going to be the hardest thing for him, because it's going to require the most consistent focus. And right now, he doesn't hold that until he moves away. So the last thing we're going to try here is I'm going to put on a longer slip lead, or a longer training leash for him. Go ahead and put him back, and then we're going to walk together to see if that helps.
Come on, buddy.
Because sometimes the problem is just the fact that your leash is too short, and he wants to just get to just over here, maybe like a 10, 15, sometimes even an 8 will be enough for him to kind of get to where he wants to go without having to pull, and then recognize that, hey, mom and dad are too far away. Let me go back and check in on him and see which way he's going and what he's doing, right? Because we have this force that would normally be really good, right? Because he wants to stick with us up until the fact that he feels the pressure, so he knows that we're there, right? So he's not afraid of losing us at all, because he knows that this means that we're with him.
So this,
You want to be right there?
Yeah, he just wants to
You
be
want to
with
go to
him.
bed?
so are you saying that these are better than these?
No, I'm just saying he needs to recognize either of them. So it doesn't really matter what you have on him, so long as he recognizes that pressure is happening and then redirects his focus back onto you. Okay, so I'll let you hold him for a moment. Get the long leash out.
But don't you want them to be on a shorter leash so they don't run off the sidewalk into the traffic or something?
Yeah, this is what we use for training, like usually recall and stuff. The reason why we're using it now is to test out if he does actually have some point, in which case he needs to like check in on his own.
Like how far would he want to go?
Right. So what we're gonna do in this case, anyways, luckily it's pretty quiet right now. Everybody's probably inside watching football and things like that. So I want you to walk with him.
Okay.
Okay. There you go. And I'll just walk with you.
All right.
All right.
Hi. What's up?
Right. You'll have to watch out for the trip hazards. So now you can see he doesn't feel that pressure on the leash, and he has to check back now to see where dad is.
Yeah.
But because he has to do that, he's not as free to be interested in other things. He can, right? So now, dad, go ahead and do a 180 and call his name as you turn.
Bones.
Good. There you go. Good. Now just keep walking, and we're gonna see how long of a distance it'll take for him to break from whatever he's exploring and then catch up back to dad here, right? He's just marking, and then he's gonna catch back up, right?
What are you doing? Come on.
It's a little cumbersome.
Bones, what are you doing?
There you go.
Come on, buddy. Hey. Oh. You okay?
Careful. You might want to try to stay out in the open so we don't keep getting caught on these tires.
You see his little spin? Oh, he got caught. He did a little 180. Poor guy.
All right. So let's try to stay in the open in the middle here, away from the cars.
Okay. Going over.
I'll let you cross. There you go. All right. So he's gonna follow you. And now, whenever you turn or change directions, just say his name.
Okay. Bones.
Perfect. Again.
Bones.
Good. Now this time, a little bit before you change direction.
Okay. Good boy.
So let him know that
Bones.
you're about to. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Bones.
So he has the capability of focusing and maintaining
Oh,
focus.
so good.
He just never had to use it before because he had the actual pressure of the leash kind of like a security blanket, right? Because he knew that Dad was there because he felt the pressure.
Yeah.
Now that he doesn't know, he has to actually do something to check back in with
Yeah.
you.
Oh, that's
he has
so
to
cute.
constantly like look around, like where is he? Where's he going? And, you know, he didn't drift very far before he had to catch up too.
He didn't seem as manic either about like checking other things out.
Well, he's also
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like sometimes our just, you know, we can't always have a very long leash, but sometimes our leash is just too short because he just wants to get to this and it's like just outside the range. He feels the leash pressure, but he finds almost like comforting. He knows that he's pretty much walking you, he's pulling you with him to whatever he's interested in, knowing that you're attached to him. Right now that he doesn't have that leash pressure, he has to actually check in more often with you, figure out where you are and where you're going, which is what most of the time that we would like our dogs to do. You know,
Right.
not all the time, but I usually would trigger that with leash pressure, right? So if me and my dogs are walking, I want them to stop and smell the grass. You know, there's no leash pressure, he can smell the grass, but then when I start walking again, that leash pressure kicks. That should let him know, oh hey, I have to go catch up with Dad again, as opposed to what's going on here where it's like, hey, I want to go check this out, okay, yeah, Dad's with me, let's go, Dad, right? Just kind of pulls you with him.
Yeah,
So
I
it's-
was pretty impressed how he what you
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
and followed you.
No, I have a retractable leash that's like 15 feet long. I've tried with him. He'll still go to the edge of that and then keep that tension on. I couldn't get him to do what we just did now. Maybe that's something to work through, but
Yeah, I'll give
maybe
it
he
a
just
try, too.
understands that he's still got that.
He still has that tension too.
Yeah. Whereas this is a little more iffy because with the retractable, there's tension as he goes out.
Even a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, pros and cons, right?
Right,
to
right, right.
everything. So his separation anxiety is actually what will help him to maintain focus with us. And at the same time, we're going to be working on him being independent and
Yeah.
not needing to check in with us all the time too. I'll go ahead and step on this so he doesn't get himself in trouble here. Oh, they're just parking right there. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Let's find out the skin thing. Where he does that little, where his teeth, he does that.
Oh, like sometimes he'll like sniff something, he'll get excited and he'll just like chin chatter or teeth chatter.
I hadn't seen that.
And he licks his paws a lot and chews his nails.
okay.
And the other thing he does, anytime we like wrestle or there's a loud noise that scares him or something that's potentially dangerous or exciting, first thing he does, he checks to see if his balls are still there. Is that a normal behavior?
Not that I know of, but we'll take a look at it.
Like if
and
I
see
pick
what's
him up,
going
I'm like, oh, buddy, and then I put him down. First thing he does, yep,
on. He's like, yeah, they're still there.
every single time.
Oh, it's interesting.
And I've seen human beings do that in duress, men in like combat situations, but they're not conscious of it either. I don't know.
I'll keep an eye on
Go
it. But
down
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
and check there.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. A lot of it just sounds like it goes hand in hand with his behavior even now, kind of like having to stand still, right? He doesn't get to kind of go and do something. He's already kind of antsy,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes pups just like to have more things to do constantly, and sometimes they get anxious when they're not sure of what to do. Like, why are we just standing here kind of thing instead of just being
just
able
stand and do
to
something.
relax and
Yeah.
stand. Yeah. Every dog is going to be different. The thing with most pitties too is just they normally have a lot of energy and drive, and so we just want to just redirect it, right? Like, oh, cool, he really is interested in smelling things. Let me get something new that he's never smelled before, and he has to follow me, right, as to be able to investigate and figure out what it is, as opposed to checking out all the other smells, which can be hard because there's a lot of different smells out in the world. Okay.
Oh boy, you're in for it.
It's definitely very interesting. Um, be able to work with him though, I'm sure.
Yeah, his father, whom you just met, he was always super chill. I never had to train him for anything. He was just so smart and wise and just unshakable. Like, he never got really too excited, but he would play.
Never really chewed anything.
Yeah, I never really destroyed anything or peed on anything unless it was like he was mad at me because I was like deploying and I was packing my bags. His mother was really hyper anxious all the time, so I think it was a part of her.
Maybe, bless you.
Her
And
demeanor.
She wasn't a pet.
She was.
She was?
Yeah.
She looked so skinny.
Well, she was skinny. Yeah, skinny pit.
Sometimes those things get passed down. Sometimes it's because of social upbringing. Sometimes it's just their own temperament.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a combination of those things. So, luckily though, looks like it's something we can kind of work on as opposed to medicate. Because usually with medications, it just kind of dulls or sedates them more than anything else.
Yeah.
And so, like, because we see that he can focus and just follow with us as opposed to making him tired so he's not pulling so hard, you know, we'd rather do it kind of with training the natural way first.
Yeah.
Because and we can actually test to see if that helps out with his anxiety. And then if you think he needs more on top of that, then you would do it. But you want to make sure that you kind of give him the best opportunity to kind of work through it and like get some self-confidence and some reassurance that, you know, he doesn't have to always be with us.
Yeah.
We're going to be back, kind of like build that part of his personality as opposed to just kind of knocking him out when you're leaving, so that way he doesn't, you know, cry and get all anxious and everything. It's definitely a completely different way of taking care of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there anything else that you think we can go over?
He's very needy.
Not really. I personally like how needy he is. He's just the most affectionate dog I've ever had, and I grew up with dogs. Of course, Manson's different because he's like a human almost, but we just want to focus on him not peeing anywhere in the house. That's huge. That's the biggest thing of all, because he'll mark on the couch, he'll mark on the rug, on his dad's bed, and on his dad. And he'll sometimes do it when we're home. Usually it's when we're gone if he's not in the cage, but occasionally if he doesn't hear us and we're like in the basement, we'll come back up and smell it and be like, where did you do it? And he immediately knows what he did wrong. And he'll start crawling over to us prostrate, like, I'm sorry. And then we'll go find it.
So some of that might actually just go back to good old-fashioned potty training, in which, like, they feel, you know, that like they have to or should be able to relieve themselves, or anxious and they have to relieve themselves. But we have to actually be there to supervise them when they start to kind of drift and smell like the corner of the sofa or the other dog's bed, and be like, no, let's go outside.
Yeah.
And go potty together. So part of it could just be that supervising and actually catching him in time to kind of correct him and that behavior, to teach him that he's not allowed to go in here, just by not letting him, and then redirecting him back outside, making sure that he relieves himself enough, because I've seen him mark a couple times, so he's definitely reserving in the tank to mark, like a lot of dogs do. So what you end up usually having to do in this kind of situation is go for extended walks, right, until you see that he's trying to mark something and then nothing drips out. It gives you a little bit of buffer back at home until, you know, he drinks and replenishes, right? So even if he's starting to go somewhere and you can't get to him in time, even if he lifts up, there's nothing that comes out to help kind of like his scent to like mark in that area again. Between that and cleaning up really well, it's really hard, because even the cleaners that are like enzymatic cleaners and things like that, it still doesn't get rid of the dog's scent and stuff in those areas. What I usually use for puppies are like the no marking sprays and the blockers and things like that. But I wait until I see them going there, and then I take it with me, and then I tell them no, I redirect them, and then I spray that area. And I let them go back to it and see if they smell it and then move away, and then I say, yes, good job, let's go potty outside. So some of it might just be like that necessary supervision. Hopefully it'll carry through back at home, I mean, we have a couple weeks to work on it here, but it just depends on, you know, your home environment as well, just because he's done it so much at home. And I'll let you know if he does it here, and then if he gets better at it here. So you might have to carry that back home, or he might actually be, you know, trained enough in that time through corrections that he comes hopefully to us to go relieve himself.
Yeah.
But that's going to be another thing. If he's doing it because he's anxious that you're not there, he's not going to be able to come to you to relieve himself anyways, in which case you'll have to teach him to go out to the doggy door that you have, which would be great, you know.
Well, he did, yeah.
Like
He-
if we're there, he doesn't go inside.
But if you're not there.
Well, even
it's
if
the
we're not there, he won't relieve himself inside. He just he'll do like a little squirt. But he still goes out the doggy door to poop and pee. So he understands how it works, and it's and he knows what he's doing is wrong. I used to think he was just very simple, but he knows better, because potty training in the beginning was very easy. It didn't take long at all, and then he knew what to do, but he would still mark when I wasn't looking. And as soon as I come back into the room, he knew what he did was wrong. If
So
we
you
put him in
just
a
have to
cage,
catch him
he
before
doesn't do
he
it in a
does that.
cage.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I think it's more of a nefarious or mischievous behavior than
Yeah, it might be more of like his anxiety, right? So
Yeah.
you have to kind of work on it in that moment when he's anxious. So even when he's feeling this way, because
Yeah.
when he's normal and he's potty training well, that's great. But when he's anxious and he's doing these behaviors, you almost have to do the same process over again, or more strict
Okay.
when he's anxious, because when he's anxious, he's not thinking about what he should and shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
He's more so focused on why he's anxious. Like,
Okay.
where's mom and dad? Oh man, I'm gonna go and mark so they don't leave me, or you know, whatnot. You know, don't know what's going on in his head, but because he kind of has those two sides of his personality. One side does really well with pottying outside, and the other side doesn't. You almost have to work with the other side that doesn't.
Gotcha.
And I'll be able to try to figure out how to, because I have like the monitors and stuff, be able how to disrupt him, come back in time when
Yeah.
he starts to get anxious and starts to smell, right? Because I'll probably have to leave him to initiate that, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Sometimes with pups that are really anxious, I've had them sit at the door for like 2 or 3 days, like kind of wanting to go back to their parents, or like when you guys leave and come back out later this evening to walk. I've had pups before that will kind of pull to get to the last spot that they saw their dog or their owner, and you know, smell and cry around that area. So some anxiety cases can be pretty bad. He didn't seem too bad. He definitely has some of those indicators because of the crying and because of the fixation. He also was shaking a little bit, so it does affect him physically as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
So
Just a couple other nuggets. And I sent you the email with like some history. We have cameras in the house too that we use when we leave him out of the cage, and I talk to him through the camera occasionally if he was doing something naughty.
does that actually help?
Yeah, it'll interrupt his process.
Perfect. Okay.
But I caught him. He pooped on the couch.
On the couch.
He literally gets up, he sits on the couch, he looks around, he looks up at the camera, and he starts pooping. And that's when I realized, like, he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's looking out to see if we're watching him. And I don't know if he's making a statement. And that same month, he also pooped on my bed. He went up the stairs
oh my God.
and then didn't pee, just pooped right in the center of the bed, and then went back about his business. And that was at a time when I was away for training, so I was gone for like a week at a time, and it was always within an hour of when I left.
It could just show discontent for you guys leaving, and then him also going back to an area that he's familiar with
Yeah.
you to relieve himself.
Okay. So I don't know if it's like, if they're smart enough to like express their anger or dissatisfaction by pooping, or if it's more of like like what you said, like an anxiety kind of like, I'm going where I'm comfortable.
Yeah, he'd have to have some really fine control of his potty behaviors to like purposefully do that. What I'm thinking is probably happening is just the fact that he has to go outside, and because he's upset that you're not there, he kind of combines the two, as opposed to, you know, relieving himself outside and being okay, you know, like he normally is. with the potty training, and then also, like I said, with the anxiety of you
Yeah.
not being there, he kind of combines the two, especially if it's in spots that he normally doesn't go in when you are there with
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah, no, hell no, he'd never poop on the bed when I'm with him.
Right,
That
exactly.
would be straight to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate how thoughtful you are about everything, and I like how cautious you are with stepping on the leash when the cars go by. That makes me feel a lot more comfortable.
I've
sure.
worked with a few pups on like recall and stuff here
Yeah.
before. So, like I said, usually the neighborhood, this court, you can only come in one way, which is pretty easy.
Yeah, that's good.
The open fields, usually nobody else goes in. Every now and then there's another puppy over there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's other places too that we can go and practice, but it'll be interesting to see, like I said, and really evaluate his anxiety potty behaviors, because that could be probably the hardest thing to fix, because I have to like purposefully dedicate a good chunk of time to doing it, right? Because if you say he's about an hour in and then he has those accidents, the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of me going in and out and checking the cameras would be fine. So it might be like an afternoon of, hey, let me just go right outside the door, let me watch
Yeah.
the cameras, and then let me see if once he starts drifting, coming back in, interrupting, taking him back outside, things like that over and over again.
Okay.
Pretty impressive though. He's not trying to run away or.
Yeah, he never has. And if he sees a squirrel, he'll definitely bolt after it. Probably. Other dogs, he won't run after him, but he'll whine and like want to be let over to play. But I don't let him because, like at least 3 or 4 times with strange dogs, I try to get them to sniff each other, and then they start growling, and then every now and then there's a bite or two, and I just don't want to deal with it. Female dogs, he's never really had that problem.
We might have to help Dad with some of his own dog anxieties too. I have friends that have dogs that are really good with other dogs and
Yeah.
have conflicts. So maybe being able to see that he can just play well and have fun with both male and female dogs
Yeah.
could help you out on that front.
Yeah, I
Part
definitely
of-
have my own anxiety because I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want a lawsuit. I don't want a hospital visit.
Right.
Yeah.
We want him to feel safe too and be able to have fun and interact with other dogs and get that energy out, because that could really help balance out his personality too. Like
Okay.
if you down the road after your other pup leaves, if you're able to find him another playmate at home,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 that helps with separation anxiety case. It doesn't always have to be another dog.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just been like a turtle or like some other living being in the house.
Okay.
I know for a client before, a bird has worked. It's just up that they can't get to them and see them, but they like watching them and kind of interacting with them from afar. But it just gives them somebody else
Interesting.
when you're not there
Yeah.
to kind of be there with them. And for pitties especially, having a playmate almost always eliminates that problem of anxiety and separation, because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Dad's gone, well, let me go and see what my brother's doing,
Yeah.
see if he wants to play and things like that.
He's definitely not playmates with his father.
Yeah,
His father is so annoyed by him.
so he hasn't had that kind of connection and outlet.
Never.
Right.
Yeah, they never play together. They'll cuddle together.
Leave me alone, boy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it could do it could do really some good for him as well, and that'll be something that, like, Zoe is a great pup. Like, you wouldn't have to worry about her getting into anything with him as well, and she's played with some of the other dogs before. That's just like the excitement or uncertainty, right? Because he has had bad situations, and then he hasn't had enough good situations to offset that, which is understandable. Like I said, we want to be cautious, and that's part of the reason why I have so many like dog playing videos. Not only because like when we're usually working with dogs, we don't want them to have to like just work all day, be miserable. We want them to actually have fun, get
Yeah.
exercise, be sociable, and play. But it also is on my channel because it helps to offset all the negative stigma there is about dog parks and things like that. And you can clearly see from all the videos there that all the dogs are well behaved. Sometimes there's some conflicts or escalations, but then I go through how to avoid them or how to de-escalate from those things. And you get to see dogs having fun, running around, playing.
Yeah.
It's about that balance in life.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, we'll have plenty to work on anyways. But if I feel like, one of my friends will be over or run into Zoe or something like that, we'll give him an opportunity to kind of see if he wants to play with them.
Okay. Sounds good. I trust your judgment with that. And appreciate you taking him in.
Yeah.
I'll be out of the country with my wife for our honeymoon starting tomorrow morning.
Cool.
And then my mom will be in town with her husband for about a week. And then after that, it'll be my in-laws.
Okay.
So if there's any kind of emergency, then they can be the points of contact.
Sounds good. Or if you guys wanted to just join me for like the walking sessions too, you're more than welcome. So that way I can have somebody to work with him. Sometimes what ends up happening is I'm really good at walking dogs, so it almost makes it easier for me to do than others, and so sometimes it could be even more beneficial if like you did the walking exercise with him as opposed to just me and him. Now we still do a lot of it just so that way we can get that good practice in with him and start to settle in those behaviors. But sometimes it's about teaching the handler what to do in certain situations too. That's all. But yeah, that's all. You're always more than welcome.
I'll leave that up to your discretion. I know that.
I could come.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a bit of a drive, but
Oh yeah, if
they're visiting from Atlanta, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you wanted to just sightsee, then that's perfectly fine. But if you were interested on your way up or down from checking anything out and it's by the area, you can always feel free to reach out.
Okay. Yeah, it is on the way back to Atlanta. Right, you're flying. My bad. Okay.
I'll let you guys all work it out.
Yeah,
You can put her in
however
like a
you
text or
transport.
something.
Right.
All right. Do you guys have any questions or anything else before I let you kind of say goodbye and I'll get his stuff in?
I don't have anything. Do you guys have anything? Okay.
There he goes. He'll come with you.
He's like, we're going back in the car.
Good girl. Good boy. You're okay. Oh, let's not knock those things. There you go. Really low this way. What? Lilo, come. Here, I can take that off. Come here. So we'll see if he marks where she pees as well. Yeah. He's licking it, which is very interesting. Come here, Bones. All right. A little bit now again. No, come on. Good boy. Alright. So starting my pups off with the muzzle, so that way we can see how he does listening to their corrections when she's kind of being bothered by him. She's kind of into her business there. He did well listening though and not escalating in this situation, so that's good to see. He is definitely very interested in the females, which is understandable. Come on, big guy. Good boy. Yes. good to see him calming down a little bit as well. So the longer walk beforehand might have done him some good as get some extra energy out. A little bit left. Just emptied out on the walk about 10 minutes ago. He's got a little bit left in the tank, it looks like. Good boy. Oh, they're barking at you guys. Good boy. No, Lilo's scared of the sewers. Just trying to get her to go around. Boy. Good girl. You tell he's a lot calmer. Both of them aren't really too interested in pulling too much to get to the next smell. Just makes it easier for them to kind of both be with me. He's not quite as engaged with me yet, of course, because he's not nearly as bonded as he is with his dad. But at least he's doing a good job of listening to the leash pressure. I'm trying to just make it a little bit more impactful and using it to kind of create some boundaries for him, like here. Right. Gonna just let him smell. Seeds. There you go. Yep. Almost back to empty again. Hey, how you doing? You're okay. Come on. Girl. Good boy, come. Lilo and Fiona are both a little shy and anxious with new people. He seems to do well though, which is good. Okay, so once again, he's a little tangled up. Good boy, yes. Good, there you go. Yeah, that's just a couple spritz left. See how long he's gonna get stuck interest-wise before either Lilo corrects him or he disengages on his own. It's not too bad. Definitely gonna be a little bit much for some pups. This is good to help him out in those situations, but depending on, of course, the temperament of the other dogs, to avoid any escalations. Lilo's really good about giving good proper corrections without overdoing things. So. Alright. Hang it up again. Both just kind of following their nose. Next up, we'll give him an opportunity to get used to walking with Miss Fiona and her presence. It'll just make things easier. Although for his separation anxiety, I'll probably end up having to move my ladies out of the boarding area. Maybe we'll spend some time in the living room upstairs. So that way he's actually alone. Be able to keep them there sometimes as well. Maybe separated to see if that helps him with his anxiety. So we'll have a few different options to work with. But off the bat, it'll be good if they just got along. Seems to not be having any issues. Dad said that he's pretty good with females, so luckily both of these females are really well socialized and a little bit older. Good girl, Lilo. Good boy. Right, so there's her way of just communicating, hey, that's a little nosy of you. And he did well to listen and back off. So good interaction so far. We'll see how he does with Miss Fiona. All right, and once again, for safety's sake here, for Dad, we'll put on the muzzle with Miss Fiona as well. She's also usually really good with all the dogs, even smaller ones she grew up with. So she's even a little bit more patient than Lilo here. So we'll see if she corrects him or just kind of ignores the behavior. Give him an opportunity to kind of get to know. There you go. Good. Good girl. Yeah, so good. Good girl. Very good. There you go. What do you think, Miss Fiona? You in your butt? Blush. Blush. Oh my goodness. So there's that excited pulling. As soon as it reaches to a point, we're gonna make it impactful by either stopping, tugging to turn around. Just want to make sure that he doesn't start just ignoring that leash pressure again. We'll go over some formal exercises. I'm not too worried about it right now while we're just trying to get him accustomed to his new surroundings and his roommates. Good girl. He's definitely running on dry now. Like a couple drops coming out. What do you think? Huh? Good boy. Hi. What do you think, Fiona? Good boy. What? You want something to do with the guy? We'll start walking again. Come on. Good boy. Yes. I know, you're all tangled up there. So that's another thing too. It's good that this kind of helps to pull and redirect him from the front, but usually it gets tangled up pretty low unless we're purposely always trying to hold it up above his legs. Whereas something that kind of connects up along his back won't have that issue so much. We'll try out different things. Sometimes connecting multiple ones too. Fiona. Good. Come on, big guy. Good. These will be the two main roommates for him for most of this day, or I think for all of his day. Might have another friend or two stay over with a pup too. But for the most part, he'll just be with these old ladies. So wanted to test them out, see how they get along. He's licking the urine too, which is very interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and pull him away from that. He's got access to water back inside. He just seems to be doing it with the ladies, so. Yes, good job. Boy. Yes, good boy. Alright. So now he's pretty much empty and has had a chance to get to meet the ladies here. Bring him back inside. Try to get him situated, see if he'll mark any new areas or anything and be ready to correct him, redirect him back outside. Good trophy on him. Good boy, come on. There you go, good. See, it's good to see that he can disengage on his own. It definitely takes a little bit though. All right, so just going out, gonna probably continue the evaluation process for at least the next couple days or so, but just wanted to see, we had a little bit of a conversation earlier, but just wanted to see how Bones here would do on the freedom leash. It also just helps me with and recognizing leash pressure. And then we also see if we can get him interested in some treats again. In some treats again. He's in like stalker pouncing mode. I remember when she was the shy one.
Right? The complete opposite.
There you go. Oh my goodness. He was doing the same thing with my ladies.
She ain't played in like 2 weeks. She's like, man,
Aww.
if somebody don't play.
I felt so bad for her. I heard her sometimes inside while I was out back in the yard working with the other pups. Oh my.
Yeah, because my mom was out of town last week, so she stayed in the cages.
Aw. You can always let me know. I can at least walk her or something for you.
You know, I don't want to infringe, but yeah, man.
It never hurts to ask. 'Cause most of the time I'm just here working with the other dogs anyways.
Well, my mom works from home normally, but she had to go visit my brother last week, so.
Aw. I could hear her. I was like, aw. Not so
She
bad.
probably heard y'all too, yeah?
Yeah. Good girl. Good boy. Alright. Oh, there you go. Who's that? What's that? But yeah, him meeting my two ladies, that's all he was all about, was just like, what is this? What's this down here? Right? Oh, there you go.
How old is he?
5? Yeah.
What you doing, some training with him or just?
He was bored and trained. Oh, here. Let's go ahead and try to untangle him up. I think she's still tangled up. There you go. Come on. There you go. Come here. Oh.
Yeah, shoot, I mean, yeah.
There you go.
Run around in the yard if you want to bring a vitamin.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Oh, there you go. There you go. Is your game on right now?
Yeah, so I'm about to.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I'll let you go.
It's only like 2 minutes left, but like I said, man,
Oh, shoot.
bring a vitamin. Come on, mama.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text. See how he does on an open field. There you go. Aw. Come on, we gotta let him go.
Zoe, come on.
I'll catch you later.
See you, man.
Oh, good boy. Bones. Bones. Yes. And come. Sit. And oh. Hi. We're gonna stop leash there. Come. Good boy. See if he's interested. Might have to actually find some treats that he likes. I'll probably use the probably try the ones in the jar that his family had. Might be the ones that he's just used to. Good boy. Sit. Yeah, so trying to get his attention enough to even give him a command. It's gonna be difficult without something that he's interested in. Oh, well, he ate it. Let's see if that'll help pique his interest to earn the next one here. Good boy. Sit. Yes, there we go. Okay, good. Good job. All right, let's go. So it's good to see him and Zoe already getting along. got a few other male pups that are our friends that are really friendly that you probably get along well with. It'd be good to try out sometime. We need to do our best to fill up his days with practicing and getting that excitement and everything out of him before trying to leave him back home alone. See if that actually helps or not. What's good about the freedom leash, you still have to be very mindful of your environment, just like with the long training lead. But because this one eats up the other slack and I can stop the link from going, makes it so I can kind of trigger. Yes, good boy, come. Yes, good boy. Makes it so I can trigger when we run out of leash. You know, within reason, of course. Instead of having only 6 feet or so before we hit the end of the leash. And that's all I'm really trying to do right now, is to add some impact to when he feels that leash pressure. It's going to be for boundaries. It's going to be to call him back for a reward. Unfortunately, not everybody picks up. Good boy, there you go. But it'll be a good way that we can start creating a positive connection with that leash pressure, as well as kind of starting to create emphasis on the leash pressure without necessarily having to overdo it right off the bat. Want to do our best to teach him what to respond to and why before correcting him for ignoring the behavior, which is kind of where he's at already, unfortunately. And because I've seen that he's able to maintain focus when he wants, and then thus not pulling on the lead because he's not running after his nose, we know that it's definitely possible. I'm going to try to cultivate that more than anything else. So here, creating a boundary. Yes, good boy. Come here. Good boy. Good job. Good. He feels the leash pressure. He can't keep going the way that he wanted to go. He stops, recognizes where I'm at, comes back, gets a reward. And that's just momentary redirection, boundary marking with the leash. Eventually we'll want to kind of maintain focus and then give freedom, things like that. Could also, depending on the pup, make it so when he feels it, just comes back and understands he's reached the limit. Just keep him close to us. Boy. Oh, we're going number 2. A little bit, not too bad. So luckily right now we haven't had any issues with him feeling potty in the house. Been doing everything outside. Just watching him like a hawk and supervising him. He definitely has his nose down and he's sniffing around. It's hard to tell sometimes just because with our facility, you know, might just be trying to get a better read on the place and all the pups that have been there before. Do a deep clean before any boarding pup arrives with dog-friendly cleaning. But boy. But he was definitely doing a lot of sniffing, and sometimes it's hard to tell if he's smelling just because he's smelling or if he's smelling because he's getting ready to mark. But luckily, he hasn't tried to lift up his leg or anything. Right now we'll be kind of watching him. I'll have him on leash in case I need to redirect him physically. Pull him away, get that leash pressure in to disrupt his behavior, as well as some no marking spray. Sometimes that works well with some pups, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on the pup. And all I'm trying to do here is just keep the leash nice and loose until I need it, just to create a boundary for him. So this way, it actually sometimes naturally adds more impact because it doesn't have pressure on it all the time until we need it, in which case it seems a little bit more impactful because it's been loose the whole time. So it makes him think, oh, why is there pressure on the leash now? So the same thing here, he's just kind of following his nose, scooted up ahead. Looks like he's going number 2 again. He's got a little bit of a loose stool. His parents said that it might be also because he got into his siblings' food this morning, and it doesn't sit well with his stomach. And then also could be the fact that he is in a very new environment with a lot of things going on, and it could be his anxiety. So I'll keep an eye on it. If we need to, we can give him a break this evening with his stomach. I'm gonna go ahead and do the leash pressure there. Good boy. Good boy. See if he needs a break, and then try in the morning, or maybe adding some rice to his meal, help tighten things up. We'll just kind of play it by ear for now. Very important when you're using any training lead like this to be aware of your surroundings. See the car coming, getting ready to lock the leash if necessary. Yes, good boy. Come. Come. Good boy. All the way. So here, we'll start teaching him when he comes back. This is where we want him to be, that nice heel position. Give him his reward. Good boy. I'm gonna go ahead and lock now. I'm not gonna have an extra hand. There's a car coming. Go ahead and freedom. I'm gonna be aware of cars coming in front, behind, blind corners, things like that. Right now it's loose. Got just a little bit left coming out. Probably safe to go back inside. Luckily, with the weather getting cooler, us being out longer isn't also going to promote him being thirstier. It will a little bit, but not to the degree of like summertime when he's going to be hot and needs to really rehydrate. So same thing here. Got the lady as well. Good boy. So I'm just making this boundary here. So he's not allowed to push past that physically as we walk. Same thing here. He's not allowed to go into her bubble. And that's how you can use a freedom leash just effectively as a regular short lead. Now that we have open space ahead, I'm going to go ahead and keep it unlocked. And you can see he's checking back, which is really good. Good boy. Good job, big guy. Good weight. All right. So we want to make sure that we mark and encourage that. And then if he starts going too far in front, there you go. He hits it. Now I'm going to start walking back. Good boy. Come. Yes. And make sure that if he hits tension on the leash, that we make sure that we add emphasis to it. Right? It means something when he hits that pressure and when he feels it. Good boy. Most of the time it should mean that, he's going too far or we're going in a different way. Yes. Come. Good boy. Yeah. And especially with certain breeds like him, he's just walking, he just walks that much faster than we do. Same thing again. Okay, hit the pressure. Just gotta come back in. All the way back in. Gotta disregard everything else because he's disregarded us for so long. Good boy. Like I said, right now, he has plenty more freedom than anything else. Partly because he needs to use the bathroom, and also partly because we really want to start conditioning him for leash responsiveness and understanding leash pressure, giving it some value. It's really hard to do if it's always tight. So these neighbors actually don't want the pups in their yard. I'm going to try to create a boundary here, right? So you can't go in. I'll lock and then I'll unlock when he's going the right way. So that way he only feels the leash pressure when we need him to, and then it's loose again when we don't need him to, or when he's doing the right thing. Same thing here. We're about to run out of lead. Good boy. Good weight. Didn't stop or anything, he just stopped himself. So I wanted to acknowledge that. Got a car coming up behind us, they're good. Might run out of leash here again. Yes, good boy. Good boy. This way. Going to the trash can. There you go, good job, big guy. Good. Because this is what we need. We just need him to know that when the leash is loose, he's walking with us, he's not too far away, he's going the right direction, he's doing the right thing. When there's tension on the leash, he has to stop, understand and feel it, that there's tension, and then figure out how to relieve that tension. Most of the time it's just if he, hey, how's it going? Boy, say hi. Good boy. Good job, big guy. Most of the time, to relieve the tension, all he's got to do is just pay attention to us and follow us the right way. He's like, hi. Hi. He's so excited. Look at that tail go. You gotta say hi. You gotta let him go, though, man. Good boy. This is Bones.
Bones?
Yeah. Good boy. You ready to let him go? They gotta go hang out. I know, right? I see you. Yes, good boy. There you go. Y'all have a good one. Good boy. Good. So we can see here, even on our walk, he still has a little bit of urine left in the tank. And when we get back, he'll probably drink again. But that's where kind of monitoring intake is going to be important too, just so we know what's in the reserve. Even though he's only usually had accidents when he's anxious, I'm going to pretty much treat him as if I'm potty training and supervise the entire way, just to get certain things established to make sure that he's not going to have an accident, and then figure out ways to redirecting him even when I'm not there, and getting him to being able to discourage him when from marking when nobody is around. It's going to be the hardest thing. Sometimes it'll just need to be discouraging him when somebody is around first and he wants to mark, and then having that same kind of behavior transfer over. So he's about to hit the end of the lead. Yes, good boy. So I'm gonna start going in a certain direction. I'm gonna start U-turning back in. Yes, good boy. So he overshoots because he's excited, that's fine. He's got some smells. I'm gonna show him where I would like him to be, right by the heel. Yes, good boy. Yes, up here, good. Yes, good. So baiting and luring him into that position, establishing once he's in there that he's doing the right thing, and then before releasing, in this case, because he's a little bit older, getting him to redirect his focus and his attention back onto me, and then releasing the treat. Right? Because for me, heel is a combination of both positioning as well as focus. Right? Usually, you'll see in competitions and everything, the dog will be right next to or touching the handler, and their focus will be on the handler the entire time for the heel. Right? We want to start trying to establish those good behaviors with him and those expectations. So like if I say Bones, heel. Yes, good boy. Up here. Yes, good. Yes, good boy. Right? He actually understands what heel means and feels rewarded for following through on that. Instead of me trying to force him or pull him into the heel or correct him for being outside of the heel, because right now he's just starting to build a positive connection and recognition of what the heel actually means, you know, both positionally and focus wise. And we're gonna keep working on that as we go. Yeah, he did really good though for his first day here in walks. Go ahead and keep doing these simple exercises for today, letting him kind of get settled in for the neighborhood. And then we'll probably start on some formal drills tomorrow because he's doing so well. Yes, good boy. Very good. Here. Yes, good boy.